Hi everyone, welcome again on our channel. In today's video, I wanted to share a quick message and reminder to the community, to the ones who are already in this evolutionary process and want to advance further. This is a very big push I was getting. I am not used to do videos very often, so that's super rare. But what I wanted to talk about today is this power of evolution and what it really means to take responsibility for your own journey and your life. Many voices in the community are talking about surrendering to the process, but I see it that many people are understanding the process of surrendering as never ending, awaiting for someone else to come back to your life, as if your life would be depending on someone else's decision. And if we see that from that perspective, you can take a look as this kind of a waiting period that you impose on yourself during a separation. It can feel like an internal cage that you put yourself into. You try to find an excuse to prolong further your healing journey. You start putting excuses why you cannot continue the journey on your own. You try to find explanations why you feel it's too difficult for you to continue, just because you don't have another person next to you to join you. So if you take a look from this perspective, once you put yourself into this passive awaiting period, you're gonna get stuck. You're gonna get stuck on your expectations, how your journey was supposed to unfold. You're gonna get stuck also on those expectations, who is supposed to join you further in a journey. And from this broader perspective, I'm just messenger of evolution as a process. So I'm not that much in favor of current belief systems regarding the twin flame experience in the community, because from what I'm getting right now is evolution doesn't care about the labels. Evolution doesn't care about a face that you put on your counterpart in this experience. It doesn't even care about this emotional part of the experience. All of this emotional side of the experience is necessary to trigger your emotional body, because your emotional body very often is twisted. There is a lot of old unhealthy patterns that we get from our ancestors, from the whole generations, or we just learned as we came here, throughout our experiences. So all of those emotional baggages, it had to crumble. All of those belief systems, those unhealthy attachments, they had to go through the process of purification. So that's why we enter this twin flame experience with such an impact on our emotional body, so we can get access to those deeper parts. But in order to get to this deepest part, you have to open your heart, crack open. So that's why we have so much turmoil with regards of emotional experience as a twin flame. But in the end, after your heart is awakened, after you get access to your own inner core, I would say that's the moment that you should really put a hold on your emotions within the journey. You, of course, accept what you feel regarding specific stages, but you don't act based on your emotions. You kind of try to put them aside and try to see where the evolution wants to take you with the whole experience. If you don't do that, you will get caught up with this emotional part without taking into account the whole picture and just maybe this general flow, how this connection was evolving and what was healthy and unhealthy. And I'm talking here about this very objective analysis and knowing of the whole experience, analyzing what were the patterns that were shown to you, from your twin flame. Those kinds of analyses can be only done when you put aside your subjective emotions. If you can shut it down or maybe rather put it away for a moment, just so you can get a clear picture of the connection that you got involved with. Because this is a very precious information that you have about yourself, about your past experiences, about your triggers, about your coping mechanism in the connections. So all of this information is like the whole treasury that you have to analyze and see what you can improve and what you are missing all this time and what was preventing you to start building those more conscious connections and more aware relationships. So maybe getting back to this point regarding the evolution itself, it really can sound a bit harsh that it doesn't really matter which person we have next to each other when we evolve. And the reason I'm saying it is there is no luck in this universe, and we are always getting vibrational match in our journey. The only reason where we may have some maybe breaks or gaps in between the connections is when we need to learn certain lesson, or we have to really take care of ourselves. We have to bring ourselves to a certain vibrational level. That will be the period of separation that we are on our own, even for the sake of proving ourselves that we can do it on our own. But most of the time, there are those lessons and those patterns that we'll be replaying with another person. And here's what is happening. If you get locked in this old belief system that you can have only one twin flame and you can continue journey only with that specific person, you're imposing the conditions for the whole experience. So instead, what you can see is, who are you putting in charge of the whole experience of your life? Are you the one to define or determine the pace of your own process in your own evolution? Or are you waiting for someone else to come back to your life and maybe change their mind? There is a little bit of this bringing your own powers back and being very persistent in what you're doing and really staying open for anything else that can help you to progress further. And one of the keys here is really be relentless in this looking out for other resources that can help you grow further, instead of sitting in a corner and saying that you can only evolve or ascend with that specific person that you initially got connected to. Because once you see that, you're removing all this resistance that you put expectations on your journey, and you open up the gates for other connection to come to your life. Or maybe even this is you remove the resistance, what was causing you to block yourself from getting back with your original twin. This is really beyond the question here, because what I'm talking about is, it's beyond the whole labels thing. We are not here to label our connections. We are here rather to see them as healthy, positive, and beneficial for us, or the ones that are holding us back or causing us to repeat some old patterns and cycles. What else I wanted to add is, when we have those doubts regarding whether or not we should pursue some connections or not, because it can feel a little bit like going against our belief systems, I would say you always have to check with yourself. Don't follow someone else's guidance just because someone said so, but you just have to discern why you're acting in a certain way, why each stage of your twin flame journey is unfolding this way or another. So especially today, I saw in the group there was a comment that someone got bored from being a chaser runner. I don't remember. But if you're bored in a journey, this is a suggestion for you to change something. Trust me that the whole journey and just the whole energetic world, once you open up to this bigger picture and getting into the flow, there is never boredom. There's always something happen. It's only when we are getting stuck on our own wishes and wishful thinking, and some things are not healthy for us. Of course, like, they don't want to manifest. Like, why would the universe manifest something that is not serving you? that is not healthy for you. So instead of getting angry that something is not manifesting and something is getting stuck, ask yourself if there is a different way to approach this situation. If there is some blocks that you put internally for yourself. So with this in mind, I would maybe encourage everyone to see where they stand. And again, I'm not asking no one to live their twin flame connection, their twin flame partner. It really, people have so many different understandings about the journey. I don't encourage you to go against yourself. I'm just sharing that in the end, this evolutionary process is ready to work with you, whether or not you're with your twin flame or not, because the evolution won't be checking which person you have next to you and how did you decide to label them. Because as you go along the journey, and probably people who are already few years in here, they will see it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter if you call your person twin flame or your catalyst or your divine partner. People like to put those labels, and it's okay, because it helps you maybe to put it into the right order, see the differences. But from the evolutionary standpoint, the labels or the roles or emotional attachment that you had to the certain person, it doesn't do anything towards your process. There are many people who can help you to replace center scenarios and break patterns, whether or not they were your original twin flame or not. So this is very different to what I'm hearing in the community, and if you get triggered from that, it's okay. I accept this as my role. I really feel that's the truth that has to be spoken to get more people and give them the courage for embracing their own journey. There is too much passiveness in this community, and maybe part of it is just because there is a lack of clarity in the process. There might be some fears to go against this very strong belief system. And in the end, as a word of summary, I just wanted to remind you that you're your own internal guidance. You don't need any gurus, you don't need anyone to tell you whether or not you're twin flame, whether or not that person or that person is your twin flame. In the end, I would advise you to choose the next stages that are giving you more freedom. If you feel like your life is stuck because you don't have your twin flame next to you, see if there are things that you can do on your own. If yes, do it, pursue that. But if you see that you're a stage in your life where you've done enough healing and you're ready to start going further with just exploring relationships and maybe exploring different connections, and you feel guided to do that, but not from this place of loneliness and dependency that you need someone next to you because you're feeling so much lonely. It's more from this curiosity for you to heal further, maybe look into your deep shadows regarding intimacy. And with this in mind, you really have to be mindful. What's your approach to the connections, right? Like, you still have to act from this place of respect and openness and trust and truth. So whatever you're wishing for yourself in this journey, that's what you should put outwards, right, to other people. We should never use those any connection just to fill some gaps, because those were simply not working. If you're on a twin flame journey, you know exactly that any connection that's gonna be meaningful for you has to be based on truth and this full openness. And it doesn't, again, I remind everyone, it doesn't care about the label. Someone who you don't consider as your twin flame is perfectly capable to give you this tremendous growth and further evolution. And you're gonna see how the universe and the energies will be orchestrating next meetings once you take yourself out of this belief system, and once you prove yourself that you're done with cages, you're done with waiting, you're done with putting your life in someone else's hand and someone else's decision. the last thing I want to add, it's very important not to put negativity towards that, because you may be tempted to, yes, go against and get angry because someone is not doing what you want. And that's just another extreme, right? Like, we just have to respect other people's decision, respect their free will, stay neutral, detach, and just put this intention forward that if there is anyone who is ready to join you, you're ready for it. You're gonna be grateful, you're gonna be curious, and you're gonna stay open and observe what the life has to offer. So hopefully my message went across. If you have further questions or some comments, I would be happy to listen, and see you in the next video. Take care, guys.